Okay, we are now in the semifinals of DDL Season 3. My opponent is Galassodart with the big, unaware, stall-ish draft. The team I once lost to during our 7 weeks of playing. There's no way I can stick to the same team that lost me the game. So I've made a few minor changes to hopefully put things going my way. But I was still nervous. And Orange, my week 7 opponent, offered to help me with some mock battles and offer insight to my prep. So I did that, and we did one mock battle, and I actually learned a lot from that, and made it allowed me to make even more changes that are a lot less subtle. So let's just go into my team building already, since we've already gone through Glass's draft, and I'd like to give a shout out to Orange for helping me with this. I did all of the building. It's just his analysis and mock battle allowed me to open my mind more to different options when I team build. So here we have the new Muck. This time I went for max physical defense. So this time Muck is now my dedicated Iron Valiant check. I'm gonna expect boots on Iron Valiant like last time, or booster energy, but even so, physically defensive only has a 1.2% chance to get 2-hit KO'd by Valiant's Life Orb Psyshock. T-Spike is once again super important because they have no poison type, and their hazard control is pretty vulnerable to my choice mons. Toxic is to deal with the unaware mons because Skelligers will most likely have boots. And Shadow Sneak is to get a last-ditch chip against Iron Valiant and Espathra. And the Poison Touch chance is mostly for that. Now we have Bandit Arcanine, it's the same thing. Arcanine remains unchanged. My Terra Electric, usually I opted for Terra Fairy Ursaring, but Terra Electric Arcanine finally gets some usage. I need the better defensive typing to give me a switch in versus Dozo, Kilo, and Quack. E-Speed is basically the same serves the same purpose as Muck's Shadow Sneak. And the speed allows me to creep max base 85s. Samurott got revamped quite a lot. At first, I just changed it to Specs Hydro Pump, and I kept Aqua Jet because I definitely did not like the Life Orb recoil. That costed me the game because it denied Samurott to attack repeatedly. Because once I got enough chips, Samurott could only attack once or twice. So I really hate having Life Orb recoil, so I opted for Choice Specs, which is even stronger than Life Orb, and I don't get chipped down by switching into Skelligurge and Dondozo. But after our mock battle, I changed Samurott to be max speed instead of a bulky modest spread. This is because Glass has 2 base 85 speeds, Quaquaval and Cleavor, and every time they came in, my Samurott was just scared to death because I knew I was going to get outsped. So the least I could do is give Samurott a fighting chance by speed tying with them. And there's also like a good probability that I won't speed tie and I'll just straight up outspeed them since we are the same speed stat. So yeah, I'd rather like put it on a coin flip than force my Samurott out and make my team take a heavy hit from Cleavor or Quaquaval. I also removed Aquajet for some more coverage. And yep, that's about it. Now we have Sarina. I removed a lot of speed EVs and put it into defense to give me a better chance versus Iron Valiant. Yeah, the extra speed was meant so that I can outspeed Iron Valiant at +1. And this isn't even max speed Iron Valiant. I was expecting the Valiant to creep my Espeon, so that's what the +1 speed did. But I stopped all that because what's the point of getting to +1 speed versus Iron Valiant when I can't even one-hit KO it, and it threatens to two-hit KO me back. So basically, Sarina's main role is to spin away the hazards. With the extra defense EVs, that helps. And the slow well, not really slow, but the U-turn does give me a good chance to bring in my choice mons. It does a decent job at scaring out the 3 grass weak mons. And the attack EVs, well, the attack nature helps me pressure Dondozo better. I still needed speed though, so I put in just enough to creep max neutral Earthworm in case they try something cheeky. Yeah, with Shed Tail, which isn't banned here. And now we have Espeon. It's basically the same thing. It's my dedicated Espathra check. If Espathra isn't there, then I don't really have a need for Espeon. It made a good switch in versus Iron Valiant, as we saw in the last match, so I could use Espeon as an emergency attacker against Iron Valiant. And lastly, we have Palossand. This got a lot of changes. I went from being fully physically defensive into max defense, max special attack with Giga Drain over Stealth Rock. Now, the reason why I didn't need rocks was because I'm expecting quite a bit of boots, and T-Spike is really all the chip I need, since there's no way it's gonna get absorbed by a poison type. But the reason why I went max defense over max HP was so that Giga Drain will heal more, especially versus Ting Lu. In our mock battle with Orange, I had a situation where I switched Palossand into Ting Lu, and we were trading Earth Power for his Throat Chops, and I was winning the trade thanks to Rocky Helmet, and my Shore Up allowed me to heal up all of its damage. But with minimal special attack investment, I realized that Ting Lu could have been setting up spikes on me all day. So this time I switched up rocks for Giga Drain, allows me to 1v1 Ting Lu even better, and the max defense still allows me to counter the Cleavor, which is Palossand's biggest role. Another bonus of max special attack is that, once again, grass coverage is important for his Dondozo, as well as Quaquaval. Max defense, I'm still able to live an Aqua Step from Quaquaval and just Giga Drain it back up. I think even a Wave Crash I can live and then shore it up, and with Water Compaction, the next Wave Crash won't even kill me. Yep, that is my new team. More offensive Palossand, more offensive Samurott, more defensive Sarina, and more defensive Muck. I didn't make any Pokemon changes because in our first battle, I thought these were the 6 that I really needed, and I still do. So without further ado, let's get into the battle. So a bit of prep before getting into this. I was offered to think about my lead and what I'll do with different scenarios of leads. Orange suggested that to think about my lead. I knew for sure I was leading Arcanine 100% right away because I wanted to get the Terra and because Cleavor matched up pretty well versus my team. Cleavor would most likely come out because that's what happened last match and I predicted that perfectly. But if I were to not lead Arcanine, then I would guess that my next lead choice would be Palossand because there is no one on Glass's team currently that can one-hit KO Palossand. So I can get in some much needed immediate damage. But after that planning, Orange also told me to try to predict how the first 3 turns will go. And I never thought about that, but that is a good idea. So I was like planning for Arcanine. If I lead Arcanine and they lead with anything, the first turn I'll always Terra and get off my bandit attack because I will live everything except for Ting Lu. So if this made me realize if it's an Arcanine versus Ting Lu lead, I gotta switch into Sarina. In our mock battle, it was an Arcanine versus Ting Lu lead, and I switched into Palossand. And that's when I realized, whoa, I could have been off to a really bad start because Palossand was doing nothing to Ting Lu. Yeah, I could switch in, but once again, the hazard stacking could have been very deadly. So this time, in the real battle, instead of switching into Palossand, I'm going to switch into Sarina if they lead Ting Lu. That way, I can threaten Power Whip or Rapid Spin, depending on what Ting Lu wants to do. And once Sarina does come in versus Ting Lu, this is turn 3 now, I'm going to predict that Glass switches to Skeledirge, which basically walls every move Sarina has except for Fling. So I'm going to predict the Skeledirge and U-turn instead of Power Whipping or spinning on the Ting Lu. And that should finally get me into a position for Specs Samurott to tear through something with Hydro Pump. So in our mock battle, my Hydro Pump missed like twice. And in the end, I lost that mock battle. But hopefully, Hydro Pump does not betray me this time. Right? So yep, that is my game plan. And I did have an alternate game plan for Palossand. If I lead Palossand, I'll just start firing off attacks versus everything. If they did have Quaquaval in this, then Palossand might have been not even on the board for leading because then I have 0 switch-ins. But there is no Quaquaval, so I did have a chance to lead Palossand, but I wanted to stick to my Arcanine lead because Terra is very good. So this was just like the mock battle. It was a bad lead for me. I guess Glass adapted to it. He realized the Cleavor lead was not good for him and went for the best counter to my Arcanine. But I didn't predict, I prepared for this. So we do my game plan. I think he's gonna switch to Skeledirge and I get it right. So now I get into position for my Specs Hydro Pump. This forces him to Terra. Yep. I fire off a Hydro Pump and I don't miss. It's especially defensive Skeledirge, which is good to know. And I am not Rash Nature this time, so I am able to live a Terra Blast if it goes for that. But instead, it goes for Torch Song, and I'm like, alright, this is a good position. I get another free Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump doesn't miss, but it does very little damage, which makes me discover it's a specially defensive Dondozo. He tries to stall out the pumps, but now I reveal my offensive Palossand. Curse is a little scary, but now my Palossand outspeeds him. And the offensive Giga Drain is doing numbers on him. I do Shadow Ball there, just in case he wants to switch into his Grass Resist, which would be Kilowattrel. But he stays in for the Sleep Talk, and thankfully no Liquidation. Rest, Sleep Talk, Curse. It could be Liquidation. Yeah, it probably is Liquidation, but no Liquidation, thankfully. And I get my kill with Palossand. So good start. The giant unaware threat is gone, making it easier for Arcanine. Now in comes Tinglu. This thing can set up hazards on me and make life really difficult. But I do have Sarina to spin it away freely since Skeleturge Terra. So I'm just gonna spam Giga Drain, try to chip down, well, not spam. I wanted to chip down Tinglu and see what it did. Hopefully I could get a Rocky Helmet chip, but it goes for spikes, which shouldn't be too scary. There's the Ruination. Over here, I get my spin. And instead, he sets up another spikes. So now I'm like, oh, well, now with a second spin, I outspeed their entire team, which is pretty helpful. There goes Kilowattrel. Now, it could be Scarf. I've ran Scarf Kilowattrel before, but I am very doubtful of that since it's faster than my entire team naturally. It is also most likely Boots, as Glass doesn't really have any hazard removers. There's a Cleavor with Defog. It surprisingly gets Defog, mostly because of Scyther. But I don't think it's gonna have Choice Scarf, so I'm just gonna get the free U-turn off. And yep, no Choice Scarf. I switch into Espeon because there's no Espathra. Like, okay, I'll just use Espeon as a switch in. There's Skeleturge. Espeon should be able to take a hit, but I did not want it to start healing up for free. So now he's gonna get the poison tax. It's okay that Muck was burned. I know this happened last time, but it's okay that Muck is burned. I have Arcanine in the back to deal with a weakened Valiant. So, and there's no Dondozo to interrupt that. So it's okay. I get the 50% poison chance. And now Samurott comes in, hopefully on a, yep, whatever it does, it's not gonna matter. Samurott gets one free kill right now, as long as I don't miss. And I don't miss. Now comes Iron Valiant, and it's booster energy this time. Espeon is my sack. I'm like, I don't need it. If it's Calm Mind, I still live a hit from anything. Yep. The special attack drop was pretty sad, but Dazzling Gleam didn't kill just like last game, so didn't matter too much to me. So it would have been nice to put him in range of Shadow Sneak. So yep, it's not even Life Orb anymore because of Quark Drive, the battery item, the Energizer. And over here, I just let Muck get its kill, and the biggest offensive threat is gone. So all that's left is two Mons that are manhandled by Palossand, and then the Kilowattrel, which is destroyed by Terra Electric Arcanine. So I feel like I'm in the driver's seat right now. As long as Cleavor doesn't have like setup plus dark coverage, I should be guaranteed to win. With a Kilowattrel, I'll just let Muck die. Maybe get a poison, and I did. So over here, Arcanine can Terra and get off a free Banded Stab attack. Banded Flare Blitz. There's nothing Glass can do to prevent fatal damage. He goes for the Roost, but Banded Flare Blitz, man. I outspeed his entire team unless it's Scarf Cleavor. It's not. And it lived my Banded Flare Blitz. I remember in our last match, I calced for Banded Flare Blitz, and it had like a 90% chance to one-hit KO. So that was a little sad that they didn't one-hit KO, but it's okay. I still live. Stealth Rock doesn't really matter because Palossand is my win condition. And all that's left is Tinglu, which I just want to preserve my Mons for their stats, or I guess I didn't. I guess I didn't want Palossand to take unnecessary damage and lose the 1v1. Over here, I go for Palossand rather than risking Hydro Pump, and slowly whittle away Tinglu to death with Giga Drain. And just like that, I beat someone that I once lost to. This is the first time I've ever won the run back. And I was really excited for that, because now I'm in the finals. My finals opponent is actually going to be the guy who helped me prep. I'm gonna be fighting Orange for the grand finals. So last time we fought, he was using meme teams. So this is gonna be very difficult to prep for. But congrats to Glass for making it to the semifinals. His team was very scary, a force to be reckoned with. But my adaptation to Palossand and Samurott, I feel like were the biggest game changers. In our last match, I had Life Orb Surf Samurott, but switching over to Specs Pump, it's such a huge difference in damage. It makes it very free for Samurott to claim kills whenever it comes in on something it's faster than. And it's faster than half of Glass's team, and possibly even 2/3 of it, depending on the Cleavor spread. Palossand was also MVP here because of the offensive Giga Drain. It was able to 2-hit or 3-hit KO the Dondozo, so it couldn't pull off any rest talk shenanigans, and it still was able to handle the Cleavor and Tinglu in the endgame. So yeah, I won 3-0. Thank you so much, Orange, for helping me prep for this, and I hope we have a good battle for the final. Thank you for watching, and see ya.